morning. Thank you for joining me for Wake Up and Yoga. It's a beautiful Monday morning. And just take a deep breath here and allow yourself to completely arrive. I have a cushion that I'm sitting on, so if that feels good for you, you can grab a cushion. You also can use a pillow or anything else to kind of prop you up a little bit. My name's Kendra. My pronouns are she, her. And I'm located in Haw River, North Carolina, the land of the Eno and the Shikori. And yesterday we had storms all day long. So my question to you is, do you enjoy a storm? And if so, what's your favorite thing to do during a storm? Do you like to sit out and watch it? Or maybe get a nice good book and read? Go ahead and leave a comment about what you enjoy doing during a storm. I can't check the comments during the session, but if you have any questions, you can always leave them there and I will get back with you afterwards. So we're just going to take a nice, easy seat here, having our head over our shoulders, shoulders over our pelvis, shoulders up and back. Just start to notice your breath. I'm going to take you through a little guided meditation to start off our practice today. The first few lines of the Anapanasati Sutra. You can have your hands on your knees. Your eyes can be at a soft gaze or closed, whatever feels most comfortable to you. Breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know I am breathing out. Breathing in, I notice the breath, long or short. Breathing out, I notice the breath, long or short. Breathing in, I notice my whole body. Breathing out, I notice my whole body. Breathing in, I calm my whole body. Breathing out, I calm my whole body. What a beautiful way to start our time together. Just focusing on the in-breath and the out-breath. This is something that helps me come into the present moment. And you can do it with anything. It could be breathing in and looking out the window. Breathing out, I'm looking out the window. Just being in the moment with the breath. So my intention for today's practice is to try to be in the moment with my breath as much as I can. And if you'd like to set an intention for your practice, now's the time to do so. We'll just take a couple more breaths here. Feeling the stomach rise and fall with every in-breath and out-breath. Allowing the hands to sit on the knees. With an in-breath, taking an ear to the shoulder. Out-breath, bringing it back central. Just doing this to each side, to whatever extent feels comfortable. And if it feels good to you, bringing the chin down towards the chest and just doing some half circles from side to side. Just waking up this upper part of the body, giving it a little love and attention that it deserves. Maybe allowing yourself, bringing your hand to the head, and just allowing a little extra stretch on one side. And slowly and gently making your way to the other side. Bringing the hand to the head, very gently, not much pressure at all. Releasing that, bringing the head back to neutral, back to center, and slowly just working with the shoulders on the in-breath, taking them up, and then out-breath down and back. Do this a couple times here. If you'd like, you can reverse directions. This way always feels a little bit more awkward to me. And then from there, we're going to take the right arm overhead with our in-breath. So on the in-breath, right hand overhead, out-breath, release. And then switching sides, left hand overhead, out-breath, release. Just working with your own breath at your own pace, allowing a nice stretch in the side body here. One more time on each side. And then on the in-breath, bringing the arms up in the air. Out-breath, bringing the left hand to the right knee, right hand behind you into a little twist. On the in-breath, extending the spine, and then the out-breath, trying to reach into that twist a little bit more. Breathing for 3, 2, 1. In-breath, both hands up in the sky. Out-breath, switching sides. Right hand to left knee, left hand placed behind you. On the in-breath, extending the spine. And on the out-breath, allowing yourself to get a little bit deeper in that twist. Breathing for 3. And release. And here we're just going to do a breath with the arms out to the sides, in breath, and then on your out breath, just crossing them over and giving yourself a nice big hug. And we'll do it one more time. In breath, arms going out, out breath, crossing over the other way, and a nice big hug. And just seeing how that feels to give yourself a hug. Releasing that and making your way onto your back on the mat. You can allow the legs to stretch out long. And just notice. Notice how this feels to you at this time. Breathing in and breathing out. On the next in-breath, bringing the arms above the head for a nice morning stretch, maybe pointing those toes. And then on the exhale, tucking the knees into the chest and allowing yourself to rock back and forth or side to side, whichever feels good to you. Feet coming to the mat, bringing them slightly closer to your sit bones, so walking them back towards your sit bones, hands are to your side. On the in-breath, pressing the hips up towards the ceiling. Option here to interlace the fingers and staying in this bridge position. Or if you'd like to add some movement with it, you can exhale and release. Inhale, raise up the hips. Exhale, release. Inhale, raise. Again, working at your own pace with your own breath. And releasing down to the mat. Pulling those knees in towards the chest. And take a little bit of movement. Maybe some circular movement here. I know this makes my lower back really happy. And allowing the feet to come to the mat again. Arms are going to go out to a T. We're going to stack the knees on top of each other as we allow them to drop over to the left side. Our gaze is going over the right shoulder. If for some reason your right shoulder is coming off of the mat, you can always use a block and place it underneath that shoulder. On the next in-breath, bringing the knees back up center. And preparing for the other side. On the out-breath, allowing the knees to drop over to the right side. Gaze goes over the left shoulder. In-breath, bringing the knees back to center. Taking a breath here. And then slowly trying to peel the head and the spine off of the mat. Slowly bringing yourself up to a seated position if that's possible. You may need to use your hands behind you. And then we're just going to go into a boat pose. So you can keep your hands behind you and raise the feet off the ground. Or the option to bring the hands in front, palms facing forward. Taking a few breaths here. Breathing in. I know I am breathing in. Breathing out. I know I am breathing out. Allowing the feet to come to the ground. We're just going to cross our feet over and roll up onto our hands and knees into our tabletop position. So in this tabletop position, you want to have your shoulders over the wrists and your pelvis over the knees. We're going to do a couple rounds of cat-cow. On the in-breath, dropping the belly, gaze goes up, sit bones go up. Exhaling, gaze goes towards the navel, rounding the tailbone. Working with your breath here. Take whatever movement feels good to you. If you would prefer to move side to side, I encourage you to do what feels good to you. Everything that I am showing you today is just a suggestion. Allow yourself to do what feels good within your own body. Coming to a neutral spine, we're going to tuck our toes under and just slightly lift the knees off the ground, about 2 inches, and release. One more time, lift and release. Spreading the fingertips wide, stabilizing through the hands. This next time, we're going to lift the hips up and back into a downward facing dog. If you're anything like me and have extremely tight legs, just make sure to give yourself as much bend in the knees as you need to. Maybe pedaling out the legs here. Be here for another couple breaths. And slowly allowing the feet to walk towards the top of the mat to meet the hands in a forward fold. Again, the knees can be as bent as they need to be here. Option to grab each of the elbows and just hang. Maybe take a little bit of movement side to side. Focusing on the in-breath and the out-breath. On the next in-breath, bringing the hands up and over the head, standing nice and tall. Out-breath, bringing the hands to heart center, and then down to the side. Taking a moment here, allowing the shoulders to be down and back. Slight bend in the knees in your mountain pose. In-breath, arms go up to the sky. Out-breath, forward fold. Stepping the right foot back, right knee comes to the floor, gaze goes forward. Take a breath here. Stabilizing the hands into the mat, left foot goes back into your plank. And here we're going to take our knees, chest and chin down to the mat, and then slither forward into your cobra. Pressing up as much as feels good to you. From here, we're going to make our way into a downward dog. However you feel comfortable doing that. We're going to go through a tabletop, tucking the toes, and then taking the hips up and back. Pedaling out the legs here. Right foot placed in between the hands. Left knee meets the mat. Gaze goes forward. Left foot meeting the right, hanging in your forward fold. Take a moment here. On the next in-breath, hands above the head. Out-breath, hands to heart center. And then to the side in your mountain pose. We'll repeat that on the other side. In-breath, hands go above the head. Out-breath, forward fold. Stepping the left foot back, left knee meets the mat, gaze goes forward. Right foot meets the left in your plank. Knees, chin, and chest to the mat. Slithering forward into your cobra. Making your way to your downward facing dog. And allowing the legs to pedal out. Left foot stepping forward between the hands, right knee to the mat, gaze going forward. Right foot meets the left in your forward fold. Hang here for a moment. On the next in-breath, hands go above the head. Out-breath, heart center. And then into your mountain pose. From your mountain pose, we're going to bring the right foot to the ankle. Hands can just be at heart center here. You can also bring the right foot to the calf or bringing it up to the inner thigh, being sure to avoid the knee. Your tree pose. You can have the branches grow nice and long above you. Maybe some wind comes. They're blowing in the wind. Returning hands to heart center and slowly allowing the right foot to return to the earth. Maybe giving yourself a little wiggle right there before we start to root through our right leg, bringing the left foot over to the ankle or the calf or the inner thigh, again, being sure to avoid the knee. You don't want to put any pressure on the knee. Allowing those branches to grow long again. And maybe having some wind come through. Again, just remembering to breathe here. Hands coming back to heart center and slowly allowing that foot to return to the earth. Taking the feet a little bit wider than hip distance, interlacing the fingers behind the back, and just hinging at the hips here and allowing the chest to slowly come forward to whatever extent feels good to you. Bringing the shoulders away from the ears. And just seeing what the world looks like from a little bit of a different perspective. On the next in-breath, allowing the chest to raise back up. Taking my hands back to heart center, and we'll lower into a squat here. If you have a block, you might want to use this to squat down to. That might make it a little bit more accessible for you, as long as you find it in the right spot. So we'll hold this here for a breath. And then just make your way to a seat on the mat. Bringing the legs long in front of you. In breath, hands going above the head. Out breath, folding forward. On the inhale, extending the spine, and then on the exhale, finding a little bit more of a fold. And the next in-breath, bringing hands above the head. Out-breath, releasing them to the mat. Making our way to our backs. Arms out to a T, crossing our right leg over our left, and then allowing the legs to drop over to the left side. Gaze goes over the right shoulder. Bringing out the organs. On the next in-breath, bringing the knees back up to center, untwisting, taking a breath here, and then taking the left leg over the right, knees dropping over to the right side this time, gaze going over the left shoulder. And if this is too much of a twist, you can return to the twist that we did earlier with the knees stacked on top of each other. Next in-breath, bringing the legs back to center, unwrapping. And from here, drawing the knees into the chest or taking any other movement that feels good to you before we go into our final resting position. Maybe you want to take the toes and move into your happy baby for a moment. Allowing the feet to find the ground. And if it feels more comfortable to you, you can stay with the knees bent and just allow the knees to drop in towards one another. Or the other option is to take the legs long, allowing the toes to fall outward. For Shavasana, our final resting position. Hands can be to the sides, or on the belly, or heart center, whatever feels good to you. Bringing awareness to your breath. Noticing the in-breath and the out-breath. Noticing the whole body. Noticing how the head makes contact on the mat. Bringing awareness to the shoulders and the upper back. Awareness to the arms. Noticing the lower back and the sit bones. Upper legs, lower legs, the heels, the feet and the toes. Releasing the entire body. Starting to bring awareness back into the breath. Wiggling the fingers and the toes. On your next in-breath, bringing the hands long above the head. And on the next out-breath, tucking the knees into the chest, making your way into a little ball. Here you can either rock and roll to a seated position, or you can bring yourself over to one side, using your hand to press yourself up, allowing the head to come last. Finding a nice, easy seated position here. Hands can be on the knees. We're going to close our practice with the universal sound of Om, the universal vibration connecting all beings. Exhaling completely, inhaling fully. Om. All is within. Be receptive. Thank you so much for practicing with me this morning. I also want to thank Global Breath and Wild Earth for sponsoring. And thank you for joining me for Wake Up and Yoga. I hope you enjoy your week. Just come check in on comments we have here. And a reminder that I will be here next week at 8 a.m. Eastern Time as well. Good morning, Tiffany. Thank you, everybody, for joining. And hope to see you next week.